We remember today Chief Dana Thompson, called by this community to be a source of dedication, service, hard work, and courage. May this memorial stone serve as a testimony of the heartfelt sorrow and appreciation by this community for his life of service. We thank you for giving him to us, his family, his friends, his neighbors.
Dana was a good neighbor, a man of few words, and well respected. At this time, I would like to read a list of the law enforcement officers that have died in the line of duty in Vermont. Deputy Sheriff Ruby Ann Renault, Essex County Sheriff's Department. Sergeant Michael Johnson, Vermont State Police. Sergeant Gary Gaboret, Vermont State Police. Investigator Eugene Giotti, Department of Liquor Control. Detective Sergeant William Chenard, Vermont State Police. Sergeant Arthur L. Yaw, Vermont State Police. Deputy Sheriff George J. Bent, Chittenden County's Sheriff Department. Game Warden Arnold J. Magoon, Fish and Life Department. Deputy Sheriff Bernard J. DeMag, Sr., Chittenden County Sheriff Department. Correctional Officer George L. Lee, Department of Corrections. Chief of Police Alexander Foncha, Lindenville Police Department. Patrolman Robert W. Provost, Burlington Police Department. Patrolman J. Albert Fisher, Burlington Police Department. Deputy Sheriff Ray W. Russell, Addison County Sheriff's Department. Correctional Officer Harvey Burnham, Department of Corrections. Inspector Robert Daniel Rosser, Vermont Highway Patrol. Deputy Sheriff Otis J. Gross, Franklin County Sheriff's Department. Traffic Officer Joseph P. Minogue, Newport City Police Department. Deputy Sheriff Frank A. Hayden, Windsor County Sheriff. Burlington Police Officer James P. McGrath, the Burlington Police Department. Deputy Sheriff George W. Hoffman, Windsor County Sheriff's Department. And Chief of Police Dana L. Thompson, Manchester Police Department. Let's pause. The Manchester police officers would remove the cloth covering the stone. The attendees would place the roses around the stone at this time.
You know, I heard it said not too long ago that we're lucky here in Vermont, that statistically we haven't lost that many officers in the line of duty, and especially haven't lost that many to gunfire in the line of duty. But police officers aren't statistics. They're people. They're fathers, grandfathers, husbands, sons. They have brothers and sisters, and when a police officer's life is touched, there's a circle of people around him that are touched deeply. Shortly after Chief's death, as we all remember, we dedicated this park in memory of him. I don't want people ever to forget how important this man was to this community. And I'm proud to be able to be here as part of this function to help place this stone in this walk that'll be there long past the point of time when I'm gone. And as long as I'm in a position of authority here in Manchester, we will remember publicly Chief Thompson. Thank you.
December 12, 1972 was a terrible day in the history for the town of Manchester. As Chief Thompson was shot and killed, George Hogue, chief of the police in the village, was seriously wounded. As other Manchester police officers responded to this scene, they would engage in a gun battle that would forever change their lives as well. To quote a missionary, Bruce Olson once said, "A good life is not measured by duration or health, but what you make out of it and the legacy you leave behind." Chief Thompson's legacy as a police officer continues today as it did during his time as chief with the town of Manchester.
Dad's dream was that someday Manchester would have a space where people, especially families, could safely spend time together, enjoying walking, playing games, or just enjoying the beauty of Manchester and the Green Mountains. I know he would be extremely proud that this beautiful park exists, and pleased and humbled that it bears his name. Thank you.
The officers of the Manchester Police Department would like to present this plaque to the Thompson family in honor of Chief Thompson, 1958 to 1972. I could explain what each of these symbolize, but basically the most important is the Medal of Honor within the Police Department and the Medal of Valor that Chief Thompson is entitled to based on his service and his sacrifice to this community. And I would ask that after today, every time you visit the park, just remember what Carol Thompson just advised us about what Dana would have wanted this place to be. And as a local resident here in town, I can tell you that I grew up here in Manchester, was born here, and I was a sophomore in high school when the chief was shot and killed. And I have to say that not only because I entered the career of police work, but every December I remember that because it couldn't have happened at a worse time if it had to happen at all. And with this, I'd like to present this to you folks. Thank you for the chief's service to our community.
At this time, I would like to invite all the members of the Thompson family to step forward and unveil the memorial display.
By the very nature of their calling, law enforcement officers willingly and without hesitation put their lives on the line in service to their fellow citizens. Bravery and vigilance are constant traits of those who wear the badge, whether it's stopping criminal acts of violence or rescuing those caught in raging floodwaters of Tropical Storm Irene. It's a courage that is so constant and commonplace that all too often we take it for granted. And that's something we must not do. And this memorial to Chief Thompson will help us to remember that we can't take these fine men, women, and their families for granted. To the law enforcement community here today, I thank you for your service.